Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're slicing right through the hype and breaking down the critical legal, financial, and operational realities of buying a franchise. We're going to look at this whole process using what I like to call the iceberg model. Because honestly, what you see floating on the surface is just a tiny fraction of what you're actually signing up for.
So let's start with the really crucial question. Is buying a franchise just a shortcut to easy money? You know, it's super tempting to fall into the illusion that slapping a massive, well-known brand name on a storefront basically guarantees effortless profits. But that assumption? It's completely wrong. Buying a franchise is not just opening a business. It's entering into a highly structured, complex, and honestly, a very long-term legal relationship with a corporate entity you might never even meet face-to-face.
Here's how we're breaking it all down today. We'll cover the harsh franchise business realities, the legal due diligence you literally cannot skip, the true financial costs, crucial contracts and ops, and finally, those blaring red flags you need to watch out for.
All right, let's jump right into part one, the franchise business reality, where we talk about trading your independence for brand support.
Think of this as the very visible tip of our franchise iceberg. It's the core trade-off. On one hand, yes, the franchisor hands you incredible assets. You get proven brand recognition, comprehensive training programs, established supply chains, and those massive, detailed operational manuals. But in exchange, you have to completely surrender your entrepreneurial independence. You are bound to their strict operational guidelines. This isn't a sandbox where you get to experiment freely with new ideas or menus. You are running their playbook, strictly by their rules.
Moving right along to Section 2, Legal Due Diligence Basics. Let's talk about the FDD and your lawyer.
Dipping just beneath the surface, your absolute most critical tool is the FDD, or Franchise Disclosure Document. Reading this massive document is non-negotiable. It gives you the actual ground truth. Has the franchisor faced bankruptcy? Are they drowning in lawsuits? What are the exact fee structures? And what's the real historical financial performance of their other franchisees? If a franchisor ever drags their feet or refuses to hand this over, immediate deal breaker. Transparency isn't some favor they're doing for you, it's a basic requirement.
And because that document is basically a phone book of complex legal jargon, hiring a specialized franchise lawyer is absolutely not an optional add-on. It's mandatory. You need an expert who can spot the hidden penalties, protect your intellectual property rights around the trademark, and just make sure you aren't signing away your future. Look, treat this as a small investment up front that protects your much larger investment down the road.
Which brings us to Section 3, the true financial costs. We're moving way beyond that initial fee.
Let's dive a little deeper into the financials here. A lot of people see that shiny, advertised initial franchise fee and think, okay, that's my biggest hurdle. Actually, scratch that. That number simply buys you the admission ticket. It just buys you the right to use the brand name and their system. It does absolutely nothing to cover the massive capital you're going to need for real estate, equipment, inventory, staff salaries, and the working capital to just keep the lights on during those really tough early months.
The real shocker is the hidden mass of the iceberg, the recurring ongoing costs. Royalties alone can chew up to 40% of your ongoing obligations. And remember, that's calculated on your gross revenue, not your actual profit. Then, tack on another 20% for mandatory marketing funds, 10% for corporate tech subscriptions, and your regular inventory and equipment. These fees continuously eat away at your profit margins. So, getting accurate, average break-even timelines from the franchisor based on this specific data is vital for your survival.
Let's pivot to Section 4, Crucial Contracts and Operations, where we deconstruct the actual agreement.
When you're staring down these contracts, your new favorite question has to be, what if? Like, what if the corporate office decides to open a brand new location 3 streets away from yours? That's exactly why exclusive territory rights have to be in writing. What if you want to renew in 10 years, but they suddenly demand double the fees? That's your duration and renewal clause. What if you get sick and need to exit early? Your termination clause dictates those penalties. And what if you eventually leave and want to start a similar business? A harsh non-compete could totally block your future plans. You have to scrutinize every single one of these scenarios. But hey, it doesn't stop at the contract. You've got to look at the day-to-day grind. Franchisors almost always demand you use their approved vendors for inventory and equipment. Sure, it keeps the brand consistent, but it also means you can't shop around for a better deal. Hidden markups in the corporate supply chain can quietly drain your profits year after year. Throw in mandatory point-of-sale software subscriptions and strict minimum staffing levels, and suddenly your ability to control your own operating budget is severely limited.
All right, Section 5,
Major red flags to watch. These are your warning signs before signing anything.
Before you even think about picking up a pen, you need a radar for these rapid-fire red flags. If anyone is guaranteeing you profits or promising unusually high returns, no way, run. Legitimate businesses involve risk. Like we said earlier, any hesitation to hand over the FDD is a massive warning. You also need to dig for pending litigation, especially if there's a history of lawsuits from former franchisees, because that points to systemic, network-wide issues. And finally, never accept vague language regarding your territory or renewal rights. Vague language always benefits the party with the bigger legal team, and that's the franchisor for sure.
And honestly, I literally cannot stress this next point enough. You have to reach out to existing and former franchisees. It's the most underused, yet powerfully insightful step you can take. Marketing brochures are only going to feed you best-case scenarios, but the actual owners, they'll give you the honest, unvarnished truth about what the daily support looks like, how painful those hidden supply chain costs really are, and if the franchisor actually acts like a partner when times get tough.
Finally, Section 6, Action Plan and Conclusion. Here are your exact steps to take before signing.
So how do we turn this from a risky, emotional gamble into a rock-solid, calculated business decision? Just follow this roadmap. First, read that FDD inside and out. Second, hire that specialized lawyer to guard your interests. Third, have those gritty, honest conversations with existing franchisees. And fourth, and this one always surprises people, negotiate. While franchisors love to claim their agreements are completely standard, things like territory rights, renewal conditions, and exit terms can absolutely sometimes be adjusted if you push back respectfully.
So I'm going to leave you with this one final thought. Ask yourself right now, are you truly prepared for a decade-long legal marriage with all the rules, the recurring fees, and the strict constraints that come with it? Or are you just infatuated with a famous branding? Do your due diligence, protect your future, and don't just sign blind. Thanks for hanging out with me for this explainer, and I'll catch you in the next one.